The Decolonisation and Anti-Imperial Materialities project is a participatory research project that tries to think about some of the collections in the pit rivers and how they enter the museum, and how we can think about these collections differently, trying to confront some of the histories that come with the collections. The project focuses on engaging and inviting different stakeholders, artists, researchers, curators, and general members of the public to think with us on the materialities of some of the objects in the pit rivers collections and the forms of interpretation, narration, and display.
My name is Joseph Ijoyemi. I'm currently studying at Central St. Martin's Fine Art. I picked 3 different objects. I picked an elephant, which is made out of brass, made in Nigeria, obviously what it was called Benin, but also it was made in a particular town where my parents were from, which is called Ondo. I also chose a woman holding a baby. The third object was made out of ivory, which is a chief sitting on a horse. So those were the 3 items, and they were all from Nigeria. It's a sensitive topic. For me, it is traumatic. I'm from an era where my culture generally is to protest, to return these items back. But also to understand what was the reason for it. What was the reason for these objects being looted? Why were they taken?
So the workshop today really with a group of students, and part of the focus of their visit is to try and think through what artistic responses might eventually come out of their engagement with the objects. We have started off with a baseline, a conceptual frame to try and shape the direction of the work. The specific experiences and artistic practices and forms of expertise and knowledge that come from the people we're working with, no doubt, will also further shape the form and nature of the work that we do. The work becomes then the pilot that is setting the ground for further engagement and possible work. In the case of art, there is very strong potential that some of the artists that we're working with will produce art that emanates from our interactions. The kinds of practice that the artists bring means we have to think about the materiality of our objects differently. There is definitely input from the different artists into our work.
I was thinking the first time I came to Oxford, Pitts Rivers, a lot of these objects were kind of packed together in the shelves. It also made me to realize and think about the transatlantic slave trade and how slaves were packed on the deck in, just literally bodies upon bodies. And to see those physical objects today in their own freedom, should I say, and not packed up together, not squeezed up, for them to have a breathing space, it's just almost to reimagine what the object feels like. And some of these objects in general are sacred and powerful and shouldn't even be in display.
In rethinking object collections in the museum. So leaving the space open, not just to different approaches, but to the input of the people that we're working with, is critical in shaping what might be regarded as inclusive and collaborative research practice. So that the participation is not just an end in itself, but is actually part of a process of generating different kinds of knowledge and different kinds of practice. And that can also go into narration and display, and means that more and different kinds of knowledge become accessible to the public. The museum has not been a static space, and recognizing that it has historically not been a neutral space offers us a chance to create the museum, if not anew, but as a site for productive conversations.